Welcome back to the Headbangers Ball at Foundations Forum 93, here with Rob Halford and the band Fight, and he's going to introduce the members of the band Fight because I don't think we've ever gotten to meet these guys yet, except that guy. So,
tall guy, everybody knows him. This is Scott Travis, of course. Came over from Priest, and
just Priest.
Just Priest. But there was that band from time in the past in LA. Well, you were in LA a few years ago, a few years back. A Hawk. We don't talk about that band. You know that Makeup. You know, Le Rouge? No, forget it. This is Brian Tills. Brian's from the Midwest, Toledo, Ohio. Kind of, you know.
Surely see from that, he's from Toledo.
He's a guitar player, insane, psychotic, thrashing madman on guitar. This side, the good-looking Californian guy from here in, was he Fresno, dude? Yeah, Fresno. This is Ross Parrish, equally mad, insane, possessed guitar player, does a great job. And the man on the end with 666 tattooed on the side of his head for reasons better left unknown.
And they only found it when he had his haircut. It was always there. That was the scary thing.
Yeah, when we did the shaving routine, oh my God, he's possessed. That's JJ, bass player from Fight.
Now we're going to find out all the stuff about Fight and the formation and all the stuff on the music next week on the Headbangers Ball, because these guys are coming to my butt. So you're just going to have to wait. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to you again, but we're going to find out more about the band next week, because the Headbangers Ball is going to be at my house, at my barbecue, and I just realized these guys were invited, so probably the week after that, I'm going to be coming to your house, because I'm not going to have a place to live anymore. But we'll be back at the Headbangers Ball.
Do we get to kill the animals that we're going to eat?
Killing the animals. The cats of mine will be hidden. And we'll be back with more from Foundations Forum 93, and we still are going to talk to these guys. The band Fight. Remember, next Saturday at the Headbangers Ball, we're going to get into all the juice about Fight and find out things that you want to know, probably things that you don't even want to know about Fight. But tell me, Rob, why are you here, and why did you bring your guys to the Foundations Forum?
Well, we're doing a playback party here at the Forum and letting everybody jam to the first Fight CD, War of Words, here in California. And just letting everybody know that we are a real band, we do exist. And we're going to be ready to play and jam in LA a few days after this event here at the Forum. We're going to be playing at the Whiskey, which is going to be an exciting thing for us to do. And then get ready for the promo tour of the record through Europe and America till December. Take a quick break, and then all the way through '94, it's road work for Fight.
Now, you guys are like pretty new to playing with Rob. Scott, you've been playing with Priest for a little bit. I mean, can you tell me some real quick differences between playing with Priest and playing with Fight?
Obviously, the difference is the guitar players. We have 2 guitar players and 1 bass player. And is that right? Is that right? Okay. What about the horn player? Did I leave him out? But it's just different members, you know, and it's exciting. It's new. A lot of these guys haven't been around and done anything at all. But anyways, it'll be fun when we go on tour. We have a lot of fun together, you know. So so
rather, you guys are going to be scarred for life, like, immediately. It's just going to take no time to get into the big shows and just be completely ruined. We're going to be talking to these guys. We'll meet all the members, and we'll find out much more about Fight next Saturday at the Headbangers Bar. Remember, it's going to be at my house. It's a barbecue, and no, you're not invited, but you can just watch a show, and it's just like being there, and you don't even have to clean up. And we'll be back with more Headbangers Ball from Foundations Forum 93. Rob Halford is at my house right now. It could either be a very good thing or it could be a bad thing. What do you think?
We should invite him over.
I already did. They wouldn't know.
I'm really upset. I thought I was going to be here to kill the animals that we were going to eat at your barbecue. Ricky.
We've been having problems with raccoons, you know, Rob.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, is that what that tasted like?
Exactly.
I thought I knew that taste, man.
And you know the raccoon, it tastes like chicken.
It does.
Anyway, you might remember last week, we were at Foundations Forum, and Rob introduced us to all the guys from Fight. So why don't you, once again, now we get to talk more in depth about Fight. Who are we here with?
This is Brian Tills from Toledo, Ohio.
Woo!
He's with Fight, and why don't you say some words about...
Yeah, Brian, tell me a little bit about yourself, since these people might not be familiar with you. Before Fight,
I was in a band called Cyanide out of Toledo. We moved to Phoenix, you know, and that's where we hooked up with Rob.
Yeah, how did this whole thing come about?
Rob checked out a couple of our shows, you know, got a tape through JJ, because he was tattooing them, and, you know.
And Rob said, hey, would you be interested in playing in a band with me? And you said, I don't know, I got to really think about this one for a while, right?
Yeah, I had to really sit down and think about it, but, you know, I finally decided to say, what the hell. give it a shot.
Yeah, well, we're going to be back meeting all the members of Fight from my backyard. It's the Headbangers Barbecue. We'll be back with more after this. It's the Headbangers Barbecue with the guys from Fight. And we've been seeing Nailed to the Gun on Headbangers Ball a little bit. Why don't you tell me, I heard the stuff, and I'm not just saying it because you're here. I really, really dig the stuff. And it could have gone both ways. I mean, it could have sounded like Old Priest, or it could have sounded like that, but it doesn't. I mean, it's very, very heavy. Much heavier than Painkiller, I think.
The important thing for me has always been to try and associate whatever I do with moving ahead, you know, breaking down barriers, moving and stretching. I've always felt right from day one that metal has got this multi-dimensional quality about it. And if you just go in there and search and get the right songs and the right musicians to work with, then you can keep breaking new ground. So even though I know there was a lot of preempting going on, people are going to say, well, maybe he's going to sound like this, maybe the band's going to sound like that. It was very important for us to make a fresh original statement, and I think that's what we've done with War of Words.
Okay, and because you are in Fight now, it is a band. Fight is a band. And we met all these guys briefly. We're going to introduce you to them again so you can get acquainted with them. Tell me who you are and what you do in Fight.
My name's JJ, and I am the bass player in Fight.
And you're also part of the Toledo Syndicate, right?
That is true, Ricky. I was also in the band along with Brian Cyanide.
Uh-huh. And pretty excited about playing with Fight now?
Yes, I am, very.
Yeah, it's real good stuff. When are we going to be seeing Fight on the road?
We're kicking off a short European tour around the middle end of October, and then we're doing the same thing over in the States. What we want to do is really just keep the energy and the excitement focused around the release of War of Words, and so we'll be doing just whatever dates we can find around the United States. It won't be an extensive tour, but we'll just hit some of the big cities. But then at the early part of '94, we're coming back and doing a mammoth American tour, so wherever you are in America, Fight's going to come to your town.
Good. We'll be back talking to the guys from Fight when the Headbangers Ball continues, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the Headbangers Barbecue. Still hanging out with Rob Halford and Fight. We are meeting the guys in Fight. Now, when I heard the Fight stuff, I heard definitely a different direction, and it sounded like maybe you were listening to a lot of the industrial stuff that's going around, because I heard some of that really, really hard-driving backbeat in it. I mean,
I've always kept abreast of everything that's going on around me, you know. I don't think you can even, for 1 minute, pull yourself away from that and get blinkered. You've got to really keep an open mind, and the great thing for me in this part of the 90s is that there's just so much stuff going down, you know. Every day I'm checking out new bands, listening to CDs 7 days a week. And so it's just a mixture of different possibilities and endless creative ideas that keep coming out. And the guitar end is extremely important, you know, and that's one thing that we're really focused on.
now let's talk about the guitars in Fight.
Right on. Let's talk.
You are,
Russ Parrish.
and you play guitars in Fight.
Yes, I do.
Now
I play
tell me
one of the guitars.
One of the guitars. Oh, I thought you just took turns playing both of them.
Oh, I cared.
Let me tell you. Tell me how you hooked up with Rob.
Well, I was in a number of bands in L.A. for the past 6 or 7 years, and all of which ended in disaster. And,
Any that we heard of?
Probably not.
Try me.
I was in a band called War and Peace for a while with Pilson, Jeff Pilson, who was in Dokken.
Okay.
And that was probably the only thing that we almost got signed. Actually, I think they're actually going to release it on a small label.
That's the past. We don't want
Yeah,
to talk
it
about
is.
that anymore. We want to talk
It
about
is.
Fight right now.
Fight.
I mean, tell me, I'm at, like, if I was a musician and I played like an instrument and I had the opportunity to play with Rob, it'd be like,
Right.
right. I mean, this has got to be
Yes,
like a
it was.
thrill.
It was a big honor for me. And Rob came down and saw me play at a club and asked me to like jam with him. So.
Now, how long have all of you guys been working together?
Well, the official launch date of the band was July 4th, 1992. We thought that was a cool day to do it because obviously we can all remember that in this country, right? July 4th. So we've been together for a year and something. A year and something. We still don't know each other that well. We've yet to get on the tour bus and see parts of us that we've.
Yeah, I think we got to. I think we got to talk to these guys next year and see what the stories they could tell. Maybe not even possible to air on Headbangers Ball. But anyways, we will be back talking to Rob, and then we will talk to somebody that's a pretty familiar face and the other member of Fight. When the Headbangers Ball continues, so stick around. Welcome back to the Headbangers Ball here with Rob Halford and Scott Travis, who we have met before because you did play with this guy before,
Yeah.
and now you're playing in Fight.
That's true.
So he decided not to get rid of it. He decided to keep you along for the ride.
Yeah, well, I was one of the youngest guys in Priest, so I figured he'd get more mileage out of me, you know. So.
And one thing I do want to mention is that we are enjoying this barbecue right now, but it is very nice that Scott took time out of his football game to come out and socialize with us in the other room watching football. ladies
What
and
game are you
gentlemen.
watching, dude? Which team were you?
Well, I don't want to say what team it was, but the team that I was...
Is that because they're losing?
They lost. They lost. But, you know, I'm basically a frustrated jock, which, you know, I think a lot of musicians are. So you're either like...
You think?
You're like too skinny to play football and too short to play basketball. So you say, well,
Who is? Wait, hold on.
Me.
Oh, I'm either too skinny or too short to play basketball.
No,
What happened? The problem of too short to play basketball.
Well,
You know
okay,
what?
well, I can only use one of those. But,
Okay.
you know, so
Let-
you figure you pick
Let's
up
talk about something like drums.
Okay.
You decided to keep this guy on. Obviously, Scott is very awesome drummer. Tell me some differences you can tell real quick between Fight and Priest.
I just think as a band we had a lot more time to really develop our own sound and style with this project, because Rob had the basis of the songs written and then he got us all together. He didn't like audition members and say, well, I'm looking for this kind of sound. He put us all together, and there was no, I mean, this is the original band that he selected from the get-go. You know, it wasn't like we had to weed through musicians, and we were able to develop our own style and make, you know, our own contributions to the songs. And with Priest, when I joined just for the Painkiller record, it was pretty much all written.
When you see also the video for Nailed to the Gun, it looks like you guys have kind of stripped down and get down to the just basics. Just
Well,
of loud, hard rock and roll.
That's what it is. That to me is what it's always been about. I mean, I had great experiences and great times with Priest. I love that band, still do, always will. And that was then, and this is now. I mean, the great thing is that everybody has stripped away all the superfluous stuff and gone really down to going on stage with their equipment and just jamming and connecting with your music. And I think that's the real vital communication these days. You can't hide behind the smoke and the lasers and all that stuff.
Okay, but-
You got to do your gig, you know.
But when you play, this is just me. You know, I'm one of those guys that likes pyrotechnics. You're still gonna have things explode on stage.
Yeah, we're gonna blow Scott up at the end of every evening.
Maybe the
you know.
Spinal Tap.
Yeah,
Oh,
Spinal Tap.
you mean the poor guy that was too short to play basketball? That guy,
That's
right?
the one. That's the one. Yeah.
Okay, we'll be back with more. Look for Fight. Check out the Fight record. You've heard the video on our show, so obviously you probably dug it so much you went out and bought the record yourself. Well, now, if somebody asked me to make a list of like the top 3 guests that we have ever had on the show that I enjoy having on the show, I'll think of who the other 2 would be later, but Rob would definitely be one of them. And this year, you've been on the show like. Lately, it seems like you've been on the show a couple times, but we haven't had the real opportunity to sit down with you and kind of talk about all the stuff that's been happening lately.
That's right.
So now we've got Rob who's going to be here. He's going to sit with us. We're going to ask most of the questions you want to know. Some of the questions we've already asked, heck, we'll ask them again. And the cool thing is that you're going to be playing live for us with Fight right on the stage. It's right behind the camera right now.
It's going to be a thrill.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rush. We're going to smoke. We're going to rock. This building will not be the same again. Believe you me.
We can definitely guarantee that.
Absolutely.
A couple questions I'm going to ask you tonight, which, like I said, we probably asked before, but we'll ask them again. What the heck? Why did you leave Priest, first of all?
We've got about 3 days.
Which, believe it or not,
It's a
many of the
long
quick
story.
things I never really did ask.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, it's a real long story, Ricky, and if I'm really honest and true to the core, which is where I've always tried to come from, for me, it was extremely important to make a musical direction change, you know, in my career. I've had such incredible support over the years from metal fans all over the world, especially here in the United States. And there's just so much more inside of me that I want to do. And being with Priest, which is a completely different animal to Fight, was, you know, real frustrating. And I just had to get this stuff out of me. I've always been very passionate about my work and very, you know, working with gut instinct and so forth. And I'm so inspired and excited by all the new music that's around all the time as well, which is where I get all my energy from and all my inspiration from.
Like?
Great bands like Biohazard, Pantera, Tool, Corrosion of Conformity, Helmet, you know, I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. So I just love to, I love to stay, you know, in the forefront and keep breaking the barriers and show everybody that metal will never be one-dimensional. There's so much new stuff to do, you know. So that's the thrill for me, to have the opportunity here in the 90s to move on and to be with Fight and make a new record, War of Words, and be out on the road and to jam here on Headbangers Ball, man, this is going to be a big
It's going to be
rush.
nuts.
It's going to be intense.
So when we come back, you're going to see Fight play live here in the studio, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll even have a studio left for next Saturday's Headbangers Ball. We're going to have Fight play. We're going to talk to Rob. We're going to talk to all the guys in the band when the Headbangers Ball continues. So stick around. On the Headbangers Ball, just want to tell you in a little bit, you're going to see videos from Danzig and Fudge Tunnel. But right now, we've got Rob Halford here. Rob Halford of Fight, and you saw Fight play just a little bit ago, doing Little Crazy. And when I saw you guys play that a couple nights ago for this live radio broadcast that was all over America, one thing that was cool is you got the whole audience to sing along. And I want to know, like, the first time you decided to get the audience to sing along, because this is new stuff for these people, you know, and you're just wondering, like, are all these people thinking I'm going to do, you know, pre-stuff, and now you're getting, and they jumped right in it, like, instantly. So they knew all the stuff.
Man. It's so cool to get that happening. We just came back from a 4-week tour of Europe, and you know, the Germans and the Spanish and the English and the French and everybody were all kicking in with the songs, especially Little Crazy, Immortal Sin and Nail to the Gun and all this kind of stuff. And it took me by surprise. I mean, I guess from where I came from previously, there was always that kind of connection, that interrelationship, and it's moving in with us to Fight also. And I think that's the greatest compliment, when your audience wants to connect and get with you through a song like that. And like you said, it happened the other day at this radio thing, and it just blows us away, man. It's so very, very intense when that kind of response starts to come to you, because it's very immediate. It's very unpretentious. It's not planned. It's just like everybody's there.
It was live.
Yeah,
it was live.
And they just want to dig it, and they want to, you know, they want to sing along, and I think that's just a blast.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to be back talking to Rob, and we're going to have Fight play more live here on the set as the Headbangers Ball continues. Special show with Fight. Fight together. The thing that I thought was really neat is it's definitely a whole new, it's a new band. I mean, you guys have the look and sound of a new band, and you probably could have been Rob Halford, picked and choose famous musicians from other big metal bands and started a super group. But instead, you got great young musicians and started a whole new band. I mean,
there's just the most amazing talent out there right now, Ricky, across the United States. And there's no doubt in my mind that America's leading the world in the metal format, no matter what kind of metal you want to
Was it different before? Because I remember when Priest, there was all like Saxon and all the British metal bands and stuff like that.
You know, the cool thing is that like, over the years, not that I want to analyse this too much, like I always do, but like, it's like the generation of musicians now that are playing, a lot of those people came to see Priest in the early days, you know, and they kind of dug it, and then the music has changed and refocused and moved out and spread, and there's this amazing selection of incredible, talented, hungry, excited new musicians out there, and that's the kind of people I like to surround myself with. And after all my years in this business, you know, I'm not jaded, I'm not cynical, I'm not hard about it. I just love it to death, and I like to have like-minded people surrounding me. Right. And that's what it was when we started to look for musicians for Fight. So we got JJ and Brian out of Toledo from the Midwest. We got Scott, of course, came over from Priest, and Russ Parrish from California. So it's like a national act across America. I'm still living down in Phoenix, and it's a very powerful, exciting, hungry, modern band. And those are all the right ingredients for new music today.
One thing that was kind of neat when I saw the band play, I was with Evan from Biohazard, and we saw the band play, and he watched you guys. He goes, I think this band is going to be big. Like, he was talking about a new band, not like, well, it's Rob Halford's band, of course it's going to be the, but it was like, I think this band's going to be really big, which was kind of neat, you know, looking at Fight like a whole new band.
I'm glad because that's the way it should be, you know, because everybody in this band is playing an important role. Everybody's doing the same amount of work that everybody needs to do in any band. There should be no given focus more on one person than another, because you know everybody's doing 150% and making it all happen. And collectively, the sound of this talent is what makes the sound of Fight so special and unique and different. Because we're all hedging out there trying to surface amongst all the other great stuff that's around us, but most certainly the feedback that we're getting right now in the very beginning of the band, because we're just over a year old, Still a lot of work to do, and all of these are early dates, but the reaction, the connection from the fight fans all over America is just incredible, and I want to thank you all for, you know, starting this together with us, because we are all growing from the beginning here. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, we're going to have much more Fight on the Headbangers Ball tonight. Right now, let's watch a video from Fight. This is Nailed to the Gun. Rob is here, also with Scott Travis, and when you were picking the band Fight and you were putting it together, did you know, like, right off the bat, it's like, look, I'm going to get new guitars, I'm going to get new bass, but I want to keep Scott because, you know, you played drums with Priest.
Well, I mean, in any band, the foundation of keeping it all together and locked in comes from a really important section, and that's the drumming technique.
Right.
And, you know, drums ain't just about keeping time. It's a very, very complex instrument to play. You got to know, you know, what things to hit, because they've all got different tones and dynamics, all the drums and cymbals, and this man is the best in the world. So I was absolutely over the moon when Scott said that he wanted to come over and join Fight. You know, that was a big release of a headache for me.
One thing I've noticed while watching Fight play also about Scott is about you, is when you play so hard, but you make it look so easy. You're just like, you know. Now, tell me some difference, being the drummer of Judas Priest and now the drummer in Fight, just tell me a couple differences that you noticed right off the bat, other than new songs.
That's about it, the new songs. No, it's all
Because as a fan and as somebody in the crowd watching, it's a whole new band to me.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
it's not just
absolutely.
Rob Halford singing new songs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the crowds make it a whole new situation too, because the audiences that we've had so far in Europe, the tour in Europe, and then here in the States have just been like bedlam every time we've done it.
Yeah, they go nuts.
It was, I mean, the other night, or a few shows in New York that we've done, like I said, so far have just been crazy, and I don't remember experiencing that with Priest. You know, maybe it was because we were playing in bigger places and the kids didn't have an opportunity to get that crazy like they do in clubs, but I mean, so far it's just, that's been the big difference for me. You know, I mean, music and hard rock music, I don't really look at it, I don't try to analyze it too much. I mean, I you know, do my part and try and play heavy and hard and make it look easy. Or actually, maybe I should try and make it look more difficult so people think I'm earning my pay better, you know, than look too easy.
We're going to find out much more about Fight and be talking to these guys. We're also going to talk to the guys from Fudge Tunnel when the Headbangers Ball's back in your face. Halford and Fight. Now, how long did it take you to put this band together? I mean, did you spend months of auditioning? Did you send scouts out to clubs?
Well, it came about like this. When I did the last show with Priest up in Toronto at the end of '91, that was really when I made the real mental decision that I was going to move into something new. So, came back to Phoenix and started to put the whole thing together, and launched our new management company, EMAS, out of Phoenix at the same time, and put an open call out really for anybody that wanted to send in tapes, video, audio cassettes, and we got stuff from all over the place. It was really, really intense. You know, we got one tape from a guy playing a really badly out of tune guitar from Israel, you know, trying to jam with us, and some guy from Romania sent us a letter saying that I'm the world's greatest guitarist, but can you send me some money so I can buy a stack and a guitar, and I'll come and join Fight. But it's really nice when people make that kind of effort to come and try and get into any kind of band. But how it turned up was Jay and Brian had moved to Phoenix with their band Cyanide, and they were looking for some representation. Joe was doing some tattoos on me in his local tattoo shop. I went and seen him
Nice
play.
having a tattoo artist in a band.
It's cool, yeah, free ones. So I went and seen them play, and they blew me away. I thought, God, this is just so very, very powerful. Asked them to join, and they said, yeah, let's do it. And I knew Russ out of California through my friendship with Paul Gilbert from Mr. Big, and of course Scotty from Priest. So it came together fairly quickly. It seems like every step of the way has been a very smooth transitional stage with a lot of...
It's supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's great, you know, when things like that do take place, because it's so unpredictable. You know, you can go left, right, so many things can happen and change directions and so forth. But it's been just a real trip from the beginning of the band coming together, from the first demos in Phoenix, which is like throwing a power grid down when this band jammed for the first day, and going over to Amsterdam to make the record early on this year, you know, going to rehearsals, make the videos in Phoenix, and now we're out on the road. It's just been a real rush.
Great. When we come back talking to Rob, I want to find out something about the stage shows and all the touring, when people can see Fight if they haven't, or if they have, I'm sure they want to see these guys again. Right now we're going to play a Judas Priest video, though. You want to intro it for us?
Yeah, sure. This is a blast from the past. This is me from my previous experience, and it was a great one, by the way. I still love Judas Priest. They'll always be deep in here for me. This is Judas Priest, and you've got another thing coming on Headbangers Ball.
We were comparing tattoos. We both have the Punisher skull tattoo, something I have in common with Rob. And Evan has that tattoo, and talking tattoos with Rob Halford.
You need one of these, those, Ricky. Look, you need one of these, dude.
Oh, there you go.
Fight tattoo.
You know, I was talking to JJ earlier, and
I'll get JJ to give you. I'll get JJ to give you one.
There you go.
Tape this. We should have it like live on Headbangers Ball.
You see me screaming in pain. No, I don't cry when I get tattoos, and see me on TV. And JJ would like make it go into the bone, probably.
Yeah, he'd get a really blunt needle.
Exactly.
You know?
Hold on, let me clean it for you. Anyway, you guys are going to be playing live. I want to talk about the shows. Now, anybody that's seen Priest knows Priest always had like the wild stage things going.
Yeah.
And right now, which I think you did the right thing, Fight's gone out on the road and played like you were, I mean, obviously you're not a brand new band that nobody's ever heard of. People have heard of you guys, but you guys still came in and are playing like medium-sized places, which I think is great for the fan, especially.
We've got a lot of work to do. We've got to build a Fight fan base around the world, but for me, it's a blast to work in those kinds of environments. You know, it's a real trip to sweat over the front row and just get really.
You like having the intimacy of a club?
Oh man, it's
because they go nuts. I mean, it's not an arena with seats.
Oh, it's insane. But no, you know, the great thing about music now is it's all stripped down. It's all real. You know, it's not about how many amps you got and smoke bombs and lasers and stuff and, you know, like $5,000 costumes. It's all about reality, and that's what I love about this new generation of musicians and fans. They get out there, they play their music from the guts. It's a real honest performance. And so, you know, we're just going out there with the back line and sticking the power on and just doing the business, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
That's
I think
what
one of the
music
things
is all about.
One of the things that people like about the bands now is when you used to see somebody up there with a big act on the stage, now people like to see a band like that could be us up there playing that kind of stuff. You know.
Well, you're dealing with real issues as well. You know, real subject matter, real songs that people can say, yeah, I can dig that. That's what's happened to me. I can relate, and that's what life is about in music in the 90s.
Yeah, and we're going to have more Fight playing live, and we're going to be talking to these guys as we have more of this special edition of the Headbangers Ball. Taped a long time ago. Now I got to tell you one thing, okay? This was the second show I ever did as the host of Headbangers Ball, and at that time we were taping 2 shows in one day. So this was my first time ever to New York, ever taping the Headbangers Ball. I was scared to death, and I used to sit here. They would give me, here, wear this, and they would come here and do my hair up and put all this makeup on. My producers used to go, no, don't put his hair up, don't put his hair up. And I would just sit there and go and read the questions. And now, if I even take a shower before I come to the studio, it's a rarity. But
I noticed that, Ricky.
But it's real. See, that's the stuff Rob can tell you that you're just gonna have to take my word for. So now I have to look and deal with the nightmares of what I used to look like back in January of 1990. I want to read you some of the quotes that people have said about this next band. Back things to me again, okay? Bear with me before you say it. Back on the Headbangers Ball on more important things, much more. Subject is fight. We're going to have more fight performances. But right now, once again, introduce this guy for the 3rd time.
Hi, I'm Rob Halford.
And
You didn't know
we
that?
know you.
And this is our great guitar player, one of 2 great guitar players in fight. This is Brian Tills.
Got a question for you, Brian. How is it going? Because what band did you play in before? I know I've asked you this question
Cyanide.
before. Now, Cyanide, I don't know what their draw was like,
Yeah.
but now you're instantly going into a band that's selling out most of the I imagine all the places you're playing.
Right.
I mean, was it a pretty big jump to all of a sudden be in a band that's a new band, but all of a sudden not having to build up a draw and just going out there and playing in front of a lot of people?
It's great, you know. I couldn't ask for more.
And playing in a band that everybody knows the songs and not having, you know.
Yeah, the show's been going great, man. A lot of bloody noses, you know, a lot of bodies flying through there, especially in New York, you know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I was wondering, I mean, it seems like Fight, I mean, even though Priest never had, by any means, a light-type audience, Fight brings out the best and worst and most aggressive out of any rock fans, I mean.
I think that's the way it should always be. You know, the whole essence of rock and roll has been about rebellion and fighting back and, you know, giving the finger to things that you don't like, you know, from the establishment, from society, from your parents, from school, from whatever gets up your nose, you know. It should always be that way, because great advances in culture and civilization come from music especially, and it's all about making a stand and pissing people off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we do.
Now, where's your hometown originally? Where are you from?
Toledo.
Toledo. Have you gotten to play a show in Toledo yet?
No, we played Detroit and Cleveland. We're not hitting Toledo. Sorry, guys, all my buds. And
Yeah, because I was wondering, you must be kind of neat to play in front of your hometown people.
Yeah.
I mean, now this is the band.
Yeah,
Okay, when we
great.
come back, we're going to have another performance from Fight on the special edition of the Headbangers Ball. We've been telling you for about a month now about the all-new Headbangers Ball. One thing that we're going to try to start doing is having live performances. Couldn't think of a better band to start live performances here on the Ball. Better than Fight!
It's alright. give me something just to help me get me through this boy. I said it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright, I'm just a little crazy. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright, I'm just a little crazy. Just a little crazy. Under my skin, into my bones. I feel insanity begin to make its hole into my vision, in through my mouth. Somebody's working me to get me off some. Yeah, I said it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little. I'm just a little crazy.
Suicidal tendencies Mike Muir might look at those videos the way I look at the flashback video segment in the Headbangers Ball. Anyway, we're here with Rob Halford. The new album is out in the streets. It's called War of Words. It looks something like this. I said when I said this on the show, and you can do a flashback to when I said that every time that I heard the new stuff on it, I really, really dug the stuff. And you've been seeing it live. But also, as we've mentioned on other episodes of the show, about the remixes that I know you have of Kill It and Nailed to the Gun.
Yeah, and we've
which
also,
are amazing.
Thank
I mean,
you.
they're amazing.
We
And
also did,
completely
we
different.
did a remix of Little Crazy, we've got a remix of Vicious ready to go, we've got a remix of War of Words ready to go. And I've always dug that, you know, Ricky, because it just shows other potentials that are available from songs. And Atty Bow, who co-produced the record with us, was responsible for all of the remixes, apart from Jim Thorwell, who did a great job on the Nail to the Gun Bulletproof remix. But it's great, it just allows you to throw a different interpretation of a tune out there.
And you also produced this record.
Yes, I did.
How was that?
Along with Atty. It was a real blast for me. I never expected to produce it because we were looking for different people to work with, and I just got such a great vote of confidence from our great label Epic. David Glue and Richard Griffiths just said, go in there and do it, you know. And I said, well, what if I screw up, you know, because I ain't done this type of thing before.
But you who would know better what you want Fight to sound like.
Well, yeah, and
yourself.
I think that was their belief.
So it's really more.
They heard the demos, they saw the band, they knew that we knew what we were trying to do, we were in control, and they've given us such an incredible amount of faith. They're doing great work for us. We love Epic, you know, and everybody associated with the record through MTV, radio, retailers, everybody's working so hard. People don't know that there's an incredible amount of work that goes on behind any given band, you know. Bands just can't make it by themselves. All the people in the industry do an incredible job. So, yeah, I produced it with Atty and I had a great time. It was just a real cool experience.
Great. Well, don't go anywhere because we've got more Headbangers Ball with Fight. We're back with Rob Halford as the subject of most of the Headbangers Ball is Fight. And one thing I want to say to you, Rob, that I've noticed, and obviously any of the people that have seen your show or came in contact with you, is that you don't really give off the persona of being like a big rock star and unattainable. I mean, you're very accessible to the fans.
I can't stand that side of it. I just think it's just, you know, it's very pretentious and very unreal. And
because you like doing in stores and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you know you should never lose sight of the fact that you can't do it all by yourself. And there's, like I just said earlier, everybody plays an important role in getting you to any given situation. And those people that are in this business for the swimming pools and the fast cars and the star trip, shouldn't really be there, in my opinion, because it's not that at all. It's loving the music, it's doing it from the heart, it's doing it for the people, and appreciating everybody that helps you get to one place to the next.
Because you also seem to be somebody that truly cares about the music, cares about the scene, cares about the fans.
Yeah,
which is great.
Metal is my life. That might sound a bit, pretentious, but it's the truth.
You've been saying it for a long time,
yeah,
and it's still true.
That's just the way I am. From 7 days a week, I wake up, jam to metal, go to sleep, jamming to metal, trying to help new bands with that company, EMAS out of Phoenix.
When we come back, I want to talk to you real briefly. We don't have much more time with you, but I want to talk about that because it's very interesting.
Okay, cool.
Right now, we're going to be playing a video from Tad, and some of the cable stations are starting to show Cameron Crowe's movie singles, which I freaking love. But there's a section of Tad in where Bridget Fonda is talking dirty and got the wrong number, but it's Tad that says, "I don't know who you are, lady, but I'll be right over." That's Tad in the movie. Is that the scene? Something just like that, right? Not that I haven't been seeing that movie about 12 times this month. Here is Tad on the Headbangers Ball. Watching Fight play live. The new album, of course, is called War of the Words. It's out in your stores now. You probably have it. If not, it's one of the few CDs that I definitely suggest you getting. And tell me right now about touring, because I know a lot of people that if Fight hasn't came to their town yet are probably curious about it.
Well, we just came off of that 4-week European tour, which is a blast, and took a short break, and now we're here into the American leg, which takes us all the way through to the end of December almost. We're doing like 29 shows in just over a month, and we're trying to hit as many of the major cities throughout the entire United States, through the Midwest, up to Vancouver, down through California, through Texas, and then take a Christmas break, and we start again down in Fort Lauderdale and any other place that we've missed. So we're going to bring Fight to you whenever we can through '94, and then by the summer we'll be making the next Fight CD, and
you're starting to write stuff on it?
Yeah, we've already got some stuff, Ricky, and it sounds very, very potent.
Well,
very
thank
intense.
you very much for coming down. It's always a pleasure, and definitely for playing live. That was killer. Now we've got something that we call Enter the Pit, and we've been doing this on Headbangers Ball for about a month now. It's a suggestion that we all kind of compiled, and I'm very, very glad that we do this segment, and I know that you aficionados of the heavier stuff that you haven't been getting enough of lately like this segment. And in this segment, we've got something from Pantera, Exodus. What's up with Exodus? Next week on the Headbangers Ball, I'll tell you what's up with Exodus. And 2 from my boys, This Enter the Pit. I've said so many times on this show that I want, not the one that necessarily picks the videos on Headbangers Ball. I do have to admit that I think I had some say in bringing that segment Enter the Pit. Some. And I hope you like it, and there might be some of you that don't like that music, and we've been getting letters from everything. Somebody even wrote a letter and they said, whatever happened to Quiet Riot, and how come we haven't been playing Quiet Riot videos on the Headbangers Ball? So just so everybody that is interested, that wanted to know, I found out that they do actually have a new record out, and this is it, and I haven't heard it, so I have absolutely no idea what it sounds like, but if you're a Quiet Riot fan, there you know that they do have another record out. Once again, Rob, it's the best. Thank you so much. Check out Fight, check out the record, check them out on the road. Next Saturday on the Headbangers Ball, if the show just doesn't get better and better, the ball's been great, the new Headbangers Ball. Next week, we've got the guys from Metallica coming by. So I'll see you next Saturday. In the meantime, remember to keep one foot in the gutter, one fist in the goal. Fight.
Tour. One more time around the planet. Metal. Yeah, we started just a few weeks back over in Texas, and now we're going through the whole of North America before we take in the rest of the world, and we're going to come see you guys in September, I think. Chile, Argentina, Brazil, every place.
So right into the core, you're going to Latin America again.
Absolutely,
What do you remember
absolutely.
about Latin America?
Well, it was just an amazing experience because the first time I went there was with the Rock in Rio thing when I was in Priest and
Yeah.
we worked with Guns N' Roses. So that was just an amazing, amazing memory, you know, in the big football stadium with, you know, 80,000 metal maniacs going crazy. It was a wild time. So I was really excited about going back and playing, you know, with this new band Fight and going to different venues and meeting all the different people. It was just a really exciting experience. The only thing that was not quite right, as most people remember, was at that time Russ Parrish, our first guitar player, had quit the band. So we got a friend out of Los Angeles called Robbie Lochner who came in and played guitar. But now, of course, everything is all sorted out. We have a new guitar player, Mark Chaucy, from Minneapolis, St. Paul. And the band's complete, the band's tight. Mark's with us on Small Deadly Space, and it's complete now.
But that time of the promotion of the World of Words, you played Argentina, and you play, what else, Brazil again?
Brazil, yeah.
Mexico, you didn't do Mexico?
We didn't go through Mexico, no. It was a really, it was a time to find out a lot about the band and about what we meant, you know, about how the music would connect with people, how this new experience for me would work. It was just a lot of just going out there and searching and trying to explore all of the different possibilities. So considering it was a new group with a new record, War of Words, it was just incredible that we were able to go all over the world because everybody wanted to see what Rob Halford was doing with Fight, and it was just great, you know. And thank you everybody for being so, you know, excited about the music and about wanting to see the band. So it was complete, but there were some places that we missed.
Okay.
So this time around, we want to try and see as many people as we
At
can.
least Santiago, Chile, and Ciudad de Mexico, there are huge cities and a lot of metalheads. Let's go into a little bit, we're going to talk about this later, Small Deadly Space. Este es el último álbum de Fight, el segundo, the second one. Actually, there's a little mini album, an EP
Little Mutations was in the middle just to give people some fun, let people experiment with some ideas, but this is the second complete studio.
There's the first song is the first single, Blow Out in the Radio Room. What's the meaning of Blow Out in the Radio Room?
Well, it kind of means two things. Firstly, I love to hear music on the radio. Radio is just an incredible connection, you know. So it still just gives me a great buzz to hear, you know, hard rock, metal on the radio wherever I go in the world, and especially when it's Fight's music being played on the radio. And it just it's just a song telling you about the way, you know, the feeling comes through when you hear music played on the radio, and it's just a kind of a connection with Blow Out in the radio room. But it could just as easily be Blow Out with MTV, you know, it's the same kind of deal. So.
Perfect, aquí vamos entonces con Fight. Esto es Headbangers y esto es Blow Out in the Radio Room. Seguimos en Headbangers y ahora, bueno, we just saw the Blow Out in the Radio Room video. What about the video? You recorded in the desert?
Yeah, we went out to a place called Death Valley, which is on the border between California and Nevada. And it was really strange, you know. We flew into Vegas and we had to drive from Vegas all through the desert, you know, and we got to this really small motel. It was like something from that Psycho movie, you know, the Psycho film.
Yeah.
And it was dark, you know, pitch black. You couldn't see anything. It was like really scary and like sinister at night. But in the morning, we were in this incredible environment with all these amazing mountains and landscapes and just fantastic things to photograph and to, you know, to work with musically. So we went down there with Kevin Kerslake, the director, who's done a lot of work with Stone Temple Pilots and other people. It was just a real trip. But the way Kevin works is he uses the environment as a metaphor. He puts it as a backdrop for the group, you know. So when you see the final piece, that's after a lot of post-production ideas. But I think it's a real modern, contemporary metal piece of video for the 90s.
That's great. And what about the song itself, the Blow Out in the Radio Room, shows something special. Rob Halford and Brian also in the writing of the song. It seems that this is more like a team effort.
Absolutely, it's like a complete team. Everything on War of Words came from myself, just to get the whole thing launched, to get the band together, to make the tour, to introduce ourselves to the people. But this time, Small Deadly Space has the whole group working together, mostly myself and Brian and our new guitar player Mark Chaucy. But now the band has found its identity, found its, you know, all the things that need to work with the group. You know, it's like the psychology and the friendship and the musical things all have come together real well. And as a result, we've got this great music on Small Deadly Space.
You get an overall picture of the two albums, like War of Words and this Small Deadly Space. One difference is that it's not just Rob Halford songs. There's another difference between the two albums in terms of...
Yeah, I think it just shows the different personalities. When you get musical minds working together, you get different creative ideas coming forward. And you know, by myself, I don't think I'm a very good songwriter. I like to work with other people. So I feel that this is now just a better representation of what Fight is about now, and maybe of some things to come. But I think it's important to say that the next record after this one won't necessarily be the same. It could go off in a different direction. I mean, we'll always keep metal as the base. Metal will always be the power core base for Fight, but we'll just experiment and try different things around those ideas and just keep metal moving into the future.
And Mark, also this task in the guitar also changed a little bit, like...
Yeah. Well, you know, I think now the guitar end of the band is more balanced. I think that even though Russ Parrish did some great work on War of Words, there was a little bit of a gap between the two guitar performances, for me especially. And now I think that Mark is coming closer to Brian. That, you know, Mark's a real hardcore, you know, power thrash, crunchy guitar player with some great ideas. He looks incredible on stage. He's a crazy dynamic performer on stage. The band just feels better. You know, it's evolved, it's just become more mature, and it just feels great right now.
Now that I'm talking with you, I have the chance of a lifetime to ask you about one video that always makes me wonder.
What?
Immortal Sin.
Immortal Sin?
Yeah, what's the meaning of the little kids coming in the video? That's a video we're gonna show.
Well, Immortal Sin really is, it's a play on the way that, you know, we as kids, children are very impressionable. You know, in the early years of your life, things that happen to you when you're a kid, they live with you forever. When you become an adult, they're still in your head, and you carry these things. So what this tries to do is to show how, you know, from a point of view of kids mixing with each other, all races mixing together, all religions mixing together, people just being together in a truly human environment, you know, with unconditional love. And that, you know, one day maybe the world will be that way. It's just an idea on that theme, you know, that that the immortal sin is perceived by people that create the bigotry, that create racism, that create prejudice, you know. We should try and finish that, we should try and destroy it. And it's usually, you know, it's letting people see that children are sweet and innocent and have no complications. It's a beautiful piece of work.
Now it makes total sense for me, all the images. Aquí entonces va del álbum War of Words, Immortal Sin. El hombre que alguna vez definió, y de hecho lo definió, el metal, junto a Judas Priest y ahora con su nueva banda Fight, ya tiene dos tremendos discos. Thank you very much for your time. And
thank you.
Now we're gonna get back, that's very usual for you, back in time because of the Judas Priest. What happened with it's the same thing with Iron Maiden. What happened with Judas Priest? They're up to something, they're looking for a singer.
I don't know. Maybe you should write and ask him. I'll give you the address at the end of the show. I really don't know what's happening.
You don't have any kind of like...
Well, let me tell you a quick story. I spoke to the manager, Bill Kerbishley, a few days ago when Robert Plant and Jimmy Page came through Phoenix, Arizona, where I live. And I hadn't spoken to this guy for like maybe 3 or 4 years. And I thought, well, I know he's going to be in town, you know. And I thought, I'll make the first effort to pick up the phone and say hi and see what's happening. It was a complete waste of time. It was a complete waste of time. The guy just attacked me with all these bad words, this bad language about, you know, what I did and all this kind of stuff. And so I think for me, it's the end of the end of the end. I was always hoping that maybe something could happen in the future, but right now, it doesn't look like it, you know. So, you know, we're left with some great memories, some great records, some great videos with MTV.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's important, you know, to remember the good times, to remember all the great things that happened with Priest, and just, you know, play the music and enjoy those memories. But if you want to still check out what Rob's doing, then look for me with Fight. You know, this is where I'm at right now.
And maybe I'm talking like in the questions of many metalheads in Latin America. We were raised with Judas Priest albums, and my opinion, never mind, but my opinion is that you're the best heavy metal singer ever.
Thank you.
Back then, when it was like the middle of the 70s, Judas Priest beginning, what were your influences? Where did you learn to sing?
Well, it was all really a self-learning experience. I think if you look to any musician, any metal musician, we learn by ourselves, you know, whether you play guitar, drums, bass, vocals, keyboards, anything. It's just this real burning desire to make this kind of music. So, you know, I started singing at school. I can remember like being 5 or 6 years old and singing.
Maybe you were singing Deep Purple, that kind of stuff, like back then.
Not at that age, but I remember that, you know, people like Gillan and Plant and you know, even the stuff that Ozzy was doing, you know, it was all part of an overall new style of singing, a new approach to sing, you know, metal music. So I just taught myself basically, you know, from school, from having some teaching while I was still at the high school especially. But from then on it was just, you know, learning it yourself, do it yourself, you know, learn what to do and what not to do. But for all vocalists out there, I think it's important that you realise that the human voice is an incredible instrument, you know. You can do many things with it, so you should just experiment and try and do more than one approach, more than one style. Just think of different things that you'd like to try and attempt, you know, so whether you sing it in the shower or with the band or whatever, you know, just have some fun and see what you can do, and just try and be an original. Try and be original. Being original is the most important thing in metal.
Last thing, before we remember some videos from the Judas Priest era, I was thinking about, like, you mentioned Rock in Rio. Which were the highlights of Judas? There's something else that you remember, like, trapped there in your mind?
Well, you know, I mean, from the early days, there was another big festival that I was involved with that really brought Priest on the world level. That was the famous Reading Festival in England. And that was the first time, really, that metal bands were starting to get shown, and the world's press was there. And it was after that big festival that the music of metal of Priest started to go around the world. So that's a big memory for me. And a lot of festival environments, because they're very special, they're like historical moments in time musically. So they're always in your head, like the Live Aid thing or the US Festival or whatever. But certainly for me, Rock in Rio was an incredible experience, and it was my first introduction to Latin America. Yeah.
Okay, vamos a hacer una pausa y luego de esto, after the break, we're going to watch some Painkiller stuff. I don't know. There's some interesting stuff coming after the break. Quédense, ya volvemos junto a Rob Halford aquí en Headbangers. Seguimos aquí en Headbangers junto a Rob Halford, The Fight, y tenemos un par de dudas más que preguntar acerca de... Between the War of Words and this Small Deadly Space, there was Mutations EP. It was basically something like live things and...
It was just like a thing that we just put together real fast. Jim Thirlwell, who has a great new band called Fetus, Jim Thirlwell was the first kind of remix master of metal music and hard rock music. So when I was listening to his stuff coming out of Chicago, I asked him if he would rework Nail to the Gun. And when I saw what he could do, I called Attie Bauer in Amsterdam in Holland and said, Attie, you've got to try and do some of these great things. So while I was on the tour, Attie was doing all the remixing. And we did a show up in New York for the Sony Fight Night, and we took some live tracks from that and quickly threw together this thing called Mutations. It was just to let people see that you can really reinvent music very easily by doing these remixes, so you get like some bonus ideas of a studio song in a different setting.
There was even some Judas Priest songs, Free Will Burning was there?
Yeah, Free Will Burning was on there. You know, I mean, the attachment for me with Priest will always be there, and I know that wherever I go in the world, there'll always be somebody that wants to hear some Priest stuff. So I'll never forget those people, you know, they're important to me, and there's a lot of Priest fans that are now Fight fans, a lot of new Fight fans that weren't even to Priest, just bringing in a lot of people with a lot of different things.
Okay.
But yeah, we're doing some Priest stuff on this world tour now, and just having fun playing different things.
I've been in a couple of shows, fight shows, and at the very beginning it was like very easy to design a set because you were like playing almost every song virtual, the Word of Words LP. What are you doing now? Mixing both materials?
Mixing it up. Mostly now we're able to put everything from the studio work together. When we first went out, we only had War of Words, which is like a 50-minute CD. So we wanted to play more music for the people. So we threw in some Sabbath, we threw in some Priest and what have you. Now it's everything from War of Words. It's everything from Small Deadly Space, some Priest stuff. You know, it's a real good set. We like to design our show in a very hardcore power type of sense, you know. We start off real strong and keep the frenzy going for the whole experience of the band, and that way I think that people really get the true essence of what this band is all about, you know, which is like very hardcore, very brutal, very intense work, especially when we play live.
And let's talk about the album, because the album has like the intensity also of a live album, which is very important, and you are also related with the mixing and the producing.
Yeah.
So you do that. It's not very usual that.
No, I don't know how I got that job. my work's cut out writing music and singing, but I just love to be a part of the whole experience. I love to go through, you know, going in the studio and trying this mic for the guitars and that mic for the drums, you know, messing around the desk. It's just an incredible environment. The creativity is just endless. There's so many possibilities when you're in the studio. So I just like to be involved in that, and as a result of that, now I'm like singer-songwriter, composer, producer, mixer, engineer, you name it, you know. But I mean, after all of these years in being in this work, I should be able to do a lot of other things, and I just enjoy it. It's great for me. But Ati Bao, who's with me when we make this work, he's a really important man.
Okay.
So he carries a lot of the work, you know. I just say, twist that knob and make it sound harder, you know.
Okay.
That's my role.
Okay, vamos a ver entonces one more video from the Word of Words album. What's the first one? Nailed to the Gun?
First one was Nailed to the Gun. We shot that out in Phoenix, in Arizona, and I remember it was like the middle of July and it was like so hot, you know. We were out on this big concrete slab on the wrong side of the tracks in this real heavy part of town. But we just had a blast. We invited a bunch of friends down to jam and climb over the fence and go crazy. Have some pizza, have some beer, you know. It was just a wild night. 16 hours of insanity making that first video. It was great.
Okay, aquí va entonces Fight con Nailed to the Gun. Si hay una cosa que podemos asegurar de este álbum Fight, Small Deadly Space, es que tiene un sonido muy contemporáneo. I forgot to ask you, do you speak some Spanish?
Un poquito.
No. Solo,
Cerveza.
Okay, that's great. I get one.
Grande cerveza.
Okay, that's the basic stuff.
That's all you need to know, right?
Okay, but you lived a short time in Spain, I heard.
Yeah, in Marbella, in Andalusia. And I've still got a villa down there, which I see occasionally. Okay. Now I spend a lot of time in Phoenix, but I have a lot of great friends in Spain, you know, in Barcelona and San Sebastian and Madrid, and just you know, big connections over there.
Let's get back to the fight music. One thing that it's not very usual, it's not very common that musicians of your generation stay so current in the new music that is coming.
Yeah.
You feel that you're rediscovering yourself every...
That's a good thing to say, rediscovering, because I think that, you know, being a musician should be about, you know, constantly re-educating yourself, looking at new ideas, thinking of new things to do, new things to say, and so that's always been part of me. It's not just always been about just wanting to be on a stage or making a record. I've always wanted to be around what's happening now. Okay. And the great thing about the metal community is that there's always something new coming through. There's new bands to check out. There's just new ideas happening, new sounds to listen to. And so I just love everything that's associated with metal, and I just stay with what's happening now, you know. I think it's really cool if you get the chance to be accepted like I have, and there's something I've always been grateful for, that I can still go out there and be a part of this generation and just make great music and be involved and help take the whole thing forward into the next level.
Okay. And which bands can you mention that you've been listening lately?
Lately, well, there's a band in New Orleans called Crowbar. that have been around for a while now, but I really want to see that band break because they play some great stuff, you know, Souls at Zero, you know, Machine Head are great. Monster Voodoo Machine, who we're working with in America right now.
So the opening act now for this part of the American tour is Monster Voodoo Machine.
Monster Voodoo Machine, some guys out of Toronto in Canada, and they just play some great stuff, you know, like a mix of real hardcore metal with some industrial tone, just some real cool music. There's so many new bands. You know, in America, I got to say this, in America there's this stupid thing going around saying that heavy metal is dead, which is a pile of crap, you know, it's absolutely insane. I don't know where that came from. I think it's the fact that sometimes the focus goes in one direction more than another. And so we tend to get, you know, left out. But, you know, regardless of what these people say, you know, we know as metal freaks that we'll always be here, that the bands will always be here, that there'll always be great shows like this on MTV to keep the music coming to the people. And as long as we stick together, metal will always live, you know, it'll always be around.
What do you think of the metal scene in the 90s compared with the 80s?
I think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's become a lot stronger. I think it's become more focused. I think the musicianship is better. I think the variety is bigger. I think there's just so many more possibilities now for newer groups to come forward and to get a chance, you know. In the industry now, you've got a lot of independent labels. Bands can even make their own CDs now. So it's a lot more ways to go ahead and move forward than when I came about, you know. I had to work like you wouldn't believe just to, you know, get into a record company. It was just so, and it's still difficult now. I know it's real difficult for new bands to get somewhere. But all I can say is the most important thing for any bands watching is you never ever give in, never give up, never give in. Stick with it, stay with it, keep pushing, and one day something will happen for you.
Perfect. Last thing, any plans for the future? Repeat, please, the Latin American part, because that's very important.
Okay. Well, once we finish with the North American tour, then we'll probably go over to do some shows in Europe and maybe go back to Japan or Australia. But then we're going to come down to Latin America in September. So, you know, everybody stay with MTV and we'll let you know when we're heading down there. But we already had a T-shirt made. Look. Yeah. These are some of the places we're coming to.
Mexico, Brazil, Chile. Wow, that's amazing. Ahí está toda Europa.
Just a small tour. Just a couple of places.
Worldwide again.
Yeah, all over the place. Yeah.
Okay, I'm so happy that you're back, and you're back with everything.
Thank you.
Very good album, and what else? I'm very proud of all that.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for all your support down there in Latin America. We love you guys. Keep the metal alive, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, entonces nos vamos con un video más de Fight, y thank you very much once again, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot.
And which is the video? Just missing the Little Crazy. Ahí va entonces en Headbanger.
Vamos.